Hi, this is Gwen with Tabby Thoth Talk, the Empress. And you know that the Empress is about creativity and about creation. This is about giving birth to children, of course, but also any creative project that comes from your mind or your spirit, your voice, anything like that is ruled by the Empress. And this is in part to do with her association with the planet Venus. If you look at the card, you can see that the glyph for Venus is in the border to the image. And we can actually see this image, the glyph, on the entire tree of life. It's the only astrological image that you can fit very neatly and easily on the tree of life. And if we think about that, we can then associate the Empress with all of creation, with creating everything. Her Hebrew letter is the letter Dalet, and in Mick Frankel's video, he told us that it corresponds to the word door, and behind her you can see an arch, which is definitely a doorway. And this path, the path of the Empress, is also called the door to heaven or the gate to heaven. So we know that things can come down to earth from this wonderful place, perhaps on the path of the High Priestess, which crosses it, and she starts in Keter. So things come out of this doorway, and they also go back. So there is an association with the Empress with endings. You have beginnings and endings, and that is just natural. Anything that has a beginning has its ending inherent within it. And we can also see this polarity in Venus's relationship to Mars on the Tree of Life. If you look at the three horizontal paths, you see that the Empress and Venus is on the top horizontal path, and the Tower, which is ruled by Mars, is on the lowest horizontal path. And these are on either side of Tifreth, which divides higher and lower energies on the Tree of Life. And so we know that Venus and Mars have a very passionate romantic relationship. And this, I think, is reflected in the lust card in the middle. And you can also see their relationship in the Sephiroth on the Tree of Life. You can see Venus rules Netzach, the seventh Sephira, and Mars rules Gevora, the fifth Sephira, and they connect to each other via Tifreth, which is ruled by the Sun. And in the previous relationship, if their relationship was ruled by lust, that's ruled by Leo. So there are very similar connections here between the paths of the major arcana and the Sephiroth, which of course rule the minor arcana. And you can see a lot of imagery on the card that has to do with Venus. There's a dove in front of her, which represents love. There's a small little bird behind her, a sparrow, which represents sex and procreation, because there are a lot of sparrows out there. There's also a lot of water imagery for Venus. Of course, Aphrodite was born from the water on a shell. And if you look at the waves beside her, this reminds me very much of being underwater and perhaps getting ready to surface through the door behind her. So what do you see when you look at the card? Do you like the card? Tell us in the comments below.